A funny thing happened to me on the way to the studio. I was grounded by the airline in China due to the draconian COVID regulations. Not in China, but in England. In fact, England, which was supposed to have abandoned all of its COVID restrictions, has maintained them, only for one country, the People's Republic of China. Problem is, no one told us that. And so I was supposed to be back in Britain presenting this show to you live. But I couldn't get on the aircraft, along with several others who hadn't been told that England required them to have a PCR test in order to fly in from China. You can fly in from anywhere else in the world. You can fly to almost anywhere else in the world without a PCR test. But hey, Britain, China, problems? Ha! Well, the situation therefore is that if I am not able to get my monologue over to you as usual, we may have to go straight into the digitally remastered masterpiece, 20 years old now, Big Ben to Baghdad. Let me tell you about that film. It was an idea of mine. It came to me in a dream to drive a red London bus and a black London taxi all the way from Big Ben to Baghdad. We soon lost the taxi, but we did drive a 1963 red London Routemaster through France, through Spain, through Morocco, through Algeria, through Tunisia, through Libya, through Egypt, through Jordan, and all the way to Baghdad, where we received the biggest welcome ever afforded to any Britishers in any country in the world in all history. 3 million people came out onto the street to receive us. It's a cracking film, narrated by Oscar-winning actress Julie Christie. It was beautifully made and was ahead of its time, as the documentary, I think, will impress you when you see it later in the show. But it's important to show it, not just because of its artistic value, but because this is the 20-year anniversary of a very great crime, for which the criminals have not paid, indeed have been richly rewarded. They have been promoted, they have become vastly richer than they were, and the people that they witch hunted out of their jobs, well, I'll tell you one day what happened to them. The Iraq story is still with me, still in my dreams. It is a story which haunts me and haunts the world, more importantly, because its consequences have not yet finished. Its reverberations continue to shake the earth all over the world for reasons that I have frequently adumbrated. And that's important because we were joking the other day about the Americans calling their new battleship the Fallujah, where one of the greatest war crimes of all time, and certainly the greatest war crime of the 21st century, was committed. And lo and behold, the British minister, Annabel Goldie, a British government minister, in a written parliamentary answer from the House of Lords, has just announced that Britain is sending depleted uranium shells to Zelensky and the Ukrainian armed forces. You'll see in the film just what depleted uranium does. And Iraq, sadly, is not the only place that it has done it. And Iraqis are not the only victims of it. Gulf War syndrome was once a real thing. It affected hundreds, maybe thousands of our own soldiers and hundreds of thousands of the people that it was fired at. Cancer, leukemia, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I have seen with my eyes children born with two heads. I have seen with my head children born with multiple limbs or with no limbs at all. That was directly a result of depleted uranium, which, as the name suggests, is a nuclear weapon. So get this, Britain is sending nuclear weapons to the Ukrainian armed forces. What could possibly go wrong? Well, of course, in the worst case, they could be used to bombard the nuclear plant that the Ukrainian armed forces continue to have under siege, and then we'll have multiple Chernobyl effect throughout the European continent. And even if that doesn't happen, they will cause generations of children in the Ukraine and maybe farther afield to be born hideously deformed, multiply handicapped. They will cause miscarriage. They will cause carnage in the labor wards, in the maternity units of Ukraine for decades to come.